This is part two of a conversation I've been having with the celebrated French film director Jean-Luc Godard, who, when the movie Breathless first hit this country, hit like a bombshell, it did, and as people talked about, it's defining a whole new grammar for movies, revolutionizing the movie-making technique, and so on and so on. There's a lot to talk to him about, so let's assume that you have welcomed him again, and we'll not not waste time with applause or Mike saying the opposite of what I mean, and get started. I'm always surprised when I read the list of filmmakers that you grew up on or admired as a young man going to movies, because their films are unlike your own. I may be wrong, but they seem that way. People can come out of a Godard movie and say, I just don't quite get it the way I understand a Hitchcock movie when I see that two people are searching for a key, and if they don't find it before the Nazis get them, and the plot goes from A to B and so on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in what sense are you a Hitchcock fan, and why don't we see it in your work? Or should we?
By the time, we were, or maybe I consider myself as I'm part of the audience, and I'd like to see movies or images and sound and stories told to me through images and sound. But I realize that to have my own, to see the right story I want to see, I have to participate, and I can't only give $5 and receive a huge piece of fantasy or mystery or something. I have to work on it. I feel responsible of what I see, and the best way to answer to this responsibility is to go on to making movie. In that, so I'm at least sure I will receive the right movie for me to see, or if I don't, I will be responsible for it because I've made it.
Yeah. But are you ever tempted to make a movie just in the genre of someone else?
Well, I thought in Breathless. I was raised through American movie, and when I was first making Breathless, to me, I thought it was just I was making a Fritz Lang movie for Warner, or a Preminger movie for, I don't know, Warner too.
A Frisson movie?
Yeah, and then I discovered later it was more Alice in Wonderland than a Mark Dixon detective story. And that puzzled me completely, because I was aware I was not capable, I was completely out of control.
Do you mean when you saw the movie you were surprised at what it was, or when you read what was said about it?
Yeah, I didn't understand it. But since I made it, I was obliged to look to myself. Again, it took me almost, but instead of looking in a mirror, to look through a camera, which is a kind of a mirror, and with the help of other people, look through me through others. Yeah. And then it took me almost 20 years to recover myself. And I think that in this movie, you just show a little bit of it.
Yeah, on the other show.
Yeah, it's my first movie which is coming out of me. In that sense, I say it's my second first movie.
You mean it's really out of you and not influenced by other people?
Not influenced, shocked, moved. Passed by, but not influenced.
Well, that gives it an added interest.
And it gives me I'm no more anguish anymore, and I think it's a huge relief for me not to be anguished anymore.
Do you mean that something big has changed in your personal life that makes you now a different filmmaker?
Yes, less. The anguish is over.
What happened?
I don't know. I think I've been able to go, it's like if I was, going to the screen and then diving into the screen and then being lost. But then in that sense, I came back to screen, but from the it's like going back into childhood, but not using the same entry door, using the back door, or maybe the second floor window. You see, when nobody's waiting for us, and so they are not surprised, and you have no. I don't know. It's something strange, but. My main feeling is I'm not anguished anymore. I'm not anguished to produce a masterpiece or a piece of shit. I mean, it's just I have no anguish. It's not.
We have that word in English.
Yeah,
too.
it's. I don't know what your problem is when you are making a TV show like that. Why do you want to talk to people regularly? I think it must be very. Well, this is a question I'm asking myself.
It's a damn good question, yeah.
And I think it's difficult to talk to people.
Yes.
I just did a series of 6 hours with a little girl and a boy in Paris 3 years ago. And my first meeting with a little girl, I canceled it about 5 times. It was only a 10-minute take. And I canceled it because I discovered I don't have 10 minutes. 10 minutes is, I don't have things to say to her for 10 minutes. I mean, things different from in which school do you go, do you like your mother, or things like that. I mean, real things to say to someone which is very different from you. I mean, which is 40 years old. There is a 40 years of space between you.
Yeah. You're talking about an interview not on film,
Yeah,
but in person. Yeah.
And I think the trouble with interviews like that we feel obliged to speak. There is no silence.
This can hurt an interview if they're too long. Speaking of that, in the movie Breathless, one of the characters says something like, "What is your life ambition?" Can you answer that question?
To continue to go on with movies, yeah. One way or another. It's a peaceful. An image is not dangerous. All the world is afraid of images.
Afraid of images?
Images, yes. And I said it, I'm sorry, but I said it to some newspaperman, so I hope it will be new to you. But I was wondering why, for example, to see the difference between the image on TV and on a movie. Well, ask to your president, for example, why a president is willing to go on TV, his image, and is not willing to go on a feature, whether playing a character or whether playing itself.
The President of the United States?
Yeah,
to go into
any president of states. Why?
Why would he not make a film in which he plays someone else?
I think it will be, if Carter, the only way, or Jim Anderson, if he wants to be elected, it's to produce quickly a picture, him as a president, or just Jim Anderson as the average American. A good movie, he will be elected.
Yeah.
But I think he will not do it because he is not interested in the truth. He's just interested in power, which is different.
And you think you might see the true man in a film?
I think if movies are still successful, whatever the support is, tape or disc or, I don't know, crystal in 10 years or in 100 years, I don't know, it's because movies are strongly related to our feeling of truth. And even in TV, I mean, the only very successful things is movies. 60% of the TV success, it's because they show movie. Because to make a movie, it takes 1 year at least.
Yeah.
Whether it is a beer or a rock picture or a pornography, it takes at least 2 or 3 weeks for 1 hour. Here, for half an hour, it takes only half an hour. And this is, this is why it has nothing to do with truth.
However, a lot of American television is made very fast. The dramatic stuff is done in a matter of days. But the idea of a president being in a film, it's a wonderful idea. Or maybe a terrible idea, but